Hello and welcome to Chapter 205 of the DC Alliance podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing this evening?
I am cold. We haven't talked. We haven't been on here for a couple weeks. We took last week off, but last week it was in single digits, and then with wind chill, felt like it was below zero, which never great. And then just
No,
snow. It's winter. It is what it is. But yeah, I've been cold. Been working. Yeah, how you been?
I've been pretty much the same, Joe. Cold and working. The worst thing about this little island is we'll have 4 or 5 days in a row of like minus 20, minus 30 with wind chill. And then we'll get two
Ugh,
days in a row where it's supremely warm, wipe out majority of the snow, and you're like, oh, cool, okay. And then back to winter again. And again, 15 centimeters will go in the nighttime. The only thing I'm happy about is the fact that I don't work like in the office anymore, so I don't have to really get up and shovel to get out. Allison is going back to work soon as we found childcare for our son. So
very
uh,
nice. Very good.
we're a little nervous about that, but uh, you
Which is
know,
fair.
that is a thing that's starting this Monday, but just an hour a day for us to building into 2 weeks to her going back to work. So I'll be
It's a
interested to
start.
see how that goes for her and I. But that's about it.
You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
like you said, we've been gone for 2 weeks. I uh, just a little off the hat. We're going to talk about a picture, but I'm doing a recording tomorrow night of part one of Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths with a couple other people. I'm going to hold the names for now, but it should be a fun time. A couple people, not network people,
Okay.
and I'm excited to talk about it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to just bite my tongue, but yeah, I watched that last
I'll
night.
I'll probably I can give my thoughts next week because the
Yeah,
DVD or the Blu-ray will be coming in I think according to Amazon on Wednesday. So I should watch it before in theory. We'll see. I don't know what
and
happens.
it's been
But
released for 10 days digitally, so
sure. I
I
wait until
finally
the
got
Blu-ray comes
at
out.
that. Yeah, oh yeah, you got the collection there. So there is two more parts to this too. I'll be excited to hear Joe's thoughts next week and tune into Animation Nation. I think that's going to drop on Wednesday, hopefully. So Joe, before we got 2 weeks of news, we got Smallville's retro recaps are back because Talkville's back, and oh my God, season four! It might be the most excited thing. The thing I'm most excited to talk about this week is the Smallville retro recap. So before we get into all that, let me get the network plugs out of the way. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays, bi-weekly, is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is a walk through the multiverse. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays is DC Alliance. And Sundays monthly is World's Finest True Believers. Star Wars Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And DC Alliance goes live as Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also have their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 7 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is basically a tip jar. You like what we're doing, you want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes. Myself and Joe are going through all the DC films through the years. We have Chris and Brent who did their Infinity Saga rewatch, over 30 pieces of content already up on Patreon. We have Joe's Multiverse Minutes. We have Katie going through Star Wars comics and Clay's Marvel Snap. We thank everyone that's a patron, but if you're not a patron, if you take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and view the podcast on your podcast app of choice, that's always greatly appreciated. It helps other people find the shows, and that's always a good thing. I'll be remiss if I didn't speak about the GUA survey questionnaire that has been making the rounds. You can find the link on any of the GUA shows' Twitter handles or the GUA's Twitter handle. If you could please take 5 to 10 minutes and fill that out, that would be great for us. It just gives us feedback, what you're liking with the shows, what you're not liking with the shows, any kind of changes. Myself and Joe for the DC Alliance side of things, we have a specific question in there talking about wanting to do a comic segment specifically focused around DCU-centric comics, because Gunn has named quite a few as being inspirations for the DCU Chapter 1. So if you can please give a little bit of time, just let us know if you'll think that'd be a good segment or not. that would be greatly appreciated, and fill out the other bit. We can't do this without you guys. I can't believe we've been going for 4 years now. Wow. So yeah, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for taking the time, and just thank you for listening.
I
think
think
that's
you've
everything.
been a part of it all 4. I think I jumped in about beginning of year 2, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Maybe halfway through year 2. But yeah,
I've been doing 2 shows since we started.
yeah,
2 weekly shows.
like
So
that's
quite a few
impressive. Not gonna
episodes.
lie.
Quite a few episodes when I think about it. But yeah. Also want to give a shout out because we will be going live next week after they have it. But shout out to Marvel Alliance and their 200th episode that they'll be having this coming week. After you listen to this, they had their 199th last night, dropping on the podcast feeds today. So just want to give them a shout out. 200 is not an easy feat. We just made that feed a little 5 episodes ago. But again, props to them. It's a fantastic show. I really enjoyed last night's episode. Okay,
I'm
Joe.
behind. I'm lame because I didn't listen to anything.
I didn't listen to
Christmas
their
break.
Echo stuff because I didn't watch Echo. I was on for the What If, but the Echo episode is held for me. But last night was their predictions and what they predicted for last year. Snell was on, so that's an enjoyable episode that has no need to watch before or after. So that was why I got a chance because, like you,
Oh
I
yeah,
am
sure.
behind. So
I'm just saying I'm behind on podcasts in general. I just
same.
now today started listening to all my podcasts from December 29th or 30th.
Oh my god, you got a few weeks built up.
Because I didn't listen to anything Christmas week and New Year's week. I was
It's
off work, so and I was doing things around the house. But when I say doing things, I was editing or recording. So like I can't listen to a podcast. That's
Or
not
watching,
what I'm editing.
or playing game, or watching TV, or
So it
anything
was.
that needs your full undivided
I
attention.
got behind. It just happens.
Yeah, I just super excited for what we got to talk about here tonight, Joe. We got 2 weeks of news, but we have an opening topic that has been making the rounds a little bit. There was an article by Tatiana Siegel. She's put out a few gems regarding Ray Fisher, Snyderverse in general. And I'm not going to even talk about the article because it's very facetious. It says that James Gunn decided to use the authority because of this copyright stuff, and James Gunn replied, "That's not true at all. No decisions were made because of this public domain stuff." So that's.
I mean, yeah, sure. The whole public domain thing. Oh, we're not going to use Superman and Batman because it's going to be going in the public domain. Does Disney not use Mickey Mouse and any of their stuff?
Yeah.
No, they do constantly.
Also,
what
Disney built their empire and using the stuff that came from public domain, but they enhanced it. They made it their own. So
they made their own. Yeah.
That's what.
Well, because I think also this year you got Pinocchio going into the public domain.
Yeah.
But like you just said, it's already there technically. You can use Pinocchio, you just can't associate Disney's Pinocchio. Winnie the Pooh just went up last year. You can use Winnie the Pooh, you just can't use it like the red shirt and the no. Like there's some stipulations that if you use a certain aspect of the character that has been popularized by this company, then you are running issues like we're going to be getting here.
Yes, because we have a few that are coming up, and after seeing what they've done with Winnie the Pooh, for example, Blood and Honey, people are obviously a little nervous. I want to watch it too.
I still want to watch that. I still haven't seen it yet.
I'm saying with you, but Superman and Lois Lane will enter the public domain in 2034, followed by Batman in 2035, and the Joker in 2036, and Wonder Woman in 2037. So, as we've seen with Winnie the Pooh, for example, you can get any person to line up and make a film about this character then, but you can make your twist on it like they have here with Winnie the Pooh in the horror film. I could see this working better for Batman, because the Superman that they have access to is pretty basic. Like, he can't fly, he's not from Krypton, there's not any of that kind of stuff, really.
Well, it's going to be the 1938 Superman of...
Yeah.
He leaps tall buildings in a single bound. He doesn't really have the heat vision or the ice breath. Like, he's faster than a locomotive. Like, it's the basic beginning Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Batman. It's like even Batman's gonna be basic. It will be Bruce Wayne, but it won't be like he became. I mean, I've read the story, and in my interpretation of the origin is he became a crime fighter because he was bored, socialite. I don't
And he
know.
would hang people in the first few episodes, like legit hang them. So yeah,
Yeah, honestly,
and
if you
use the
ever want,
gun too. Use the gun too.
oh yeah, he definitely used the gun.
Yeah.
Shout out to another podcast, friends of ours, the Enter the Night with Tim and Jordan over at the
Mm-hmm.
DC Squadcast group. I know they haven't done an episode of Enter the Night in a while, but they go back and start reading all the Batman comics from the beginning,
Yeah.
and they dive into all that and how it started with Batman versus how it is now. So go give them a listen. Go give them a follow. Maybe they'll have more episodes coming out soon. They
Maybe.
all have busy. They're all very busy lives. Like
Yes.
I know Jordan has moved. Tim has been very work centric. So like I know they've slowed down a little bit. But if you want to get some, if you want to dive into the old Batman and see what potentially could be coming in 2036, whatever he goes
35
into the public domain, 35 for him. Um,
next
and
year.
you don't want to read it yourself,
Wait.
there you go. Go check out them.
No. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't think this is a real problem. Like Guns DCU will be up and running. I think this is much to do about nothing really, Joe. Some of these characters, we have a Randy says Gunn is a dissembler. Remember the Godot incident? I don't know what Godot incident you're speaking of, Randy. Until Variety retracts the statement, I will believe them and not Gunn. Are we missing something that happened in the last like hour? Is there anything in the chat
Um,
group? I don't see anything.
no,
No, no, just checking. Just want to make sure here. Nope. Okay, nope. I don't know what you're talking about, Randy. Sorry. Uh, Variety tracks her statement. That I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Yeah, Joe, I'm right there with you. Like, you can't have half the Superman stuff. Like, I don't even know what powers he had back when he first made an appearance.
he
Like,
didn't really have any. Like he had he had the speed. He had, like I said, he could leap tall buildings. Um, he was strong. But other than that, like there was one point where he himself was dangling somebody off of a building because he just was trying to get information from somebody. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be like anything to be scared of. Like Gunn obviously is not too worried about these things going into the public domain. But these it's fine. It's whatever.
like,
Like
you don't even have Lex Luthor wasn't even the first villain for Superman. It was Ultra Humanite. Like,
which that didn't show up
and
until the
that's not
40s
even
sometime. Yeah, because
even
like
the Ultra Humanite. That's a mob
it's a
boss.
different one. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like he fought street level stuff. Well, then again, so did Batman. Like, yeah, Joker showed up early, but I don't know.
Brainiac was like 1958, so you're not going to go anything. That's the thing that really makes me like question this. What are you going to do? Batman, I could see you making like a noir type uh, film, a detective, real gritty detective thing. But I don't see you any singular person being able to do a Superman story that is compelling enough for to make me want to watch it. That isn't like a major studio.
Yeah, well, I don't know because we had the ironically gun produced
Brightburn, but even that
evil
was a major studio.
Superman.
That
Sure,
wasn't like
sure.
Blood and Honey type thing. That's what I'm talking about. I think you could do a Batman style, like if you it was a well written like whodunit mystery where you don't have to have Batman fighting much, just investigating and doing detective things. I think you could pull that off, but I don't think
But
like
you
I
just
think
have
that
Dick Tracy.
Batman, yeah, well, obviously you have just essentially Sherlock Holmes in a sense,
Yeah,
but you could pull that off with the Batman character. I feel like compared to like, what are you going to do with Superman to make him unique? Like, what they did with the Winnie Pooh is, all right, we're going to make him this murderous rampage person. Yes, that's a unique thing you can do, what can you do with Superman that makes him unique that like you can actually show in such a small budget? Like you can't have him going.
You could have him being a prick and playboy.
Well, yeah, you could do something like that. You can't do anything showing powers. So you're not going to have that kind of budget to
Well,
like.
but you could also do it so where it's not like his powers being overtly used. He's got super strength, so he's able to lift, like, go to the gym and he's bench pressing 300 pounds like it's nothing. No, or he can I don't know, lift somebody up like it's nothing. Or he's got some speed. He can, like, run out of the way when a car's about to hit him or something. Like it could be one of those things where instead of it being, like you said, a superhero show or movie, it's him. Basically, what I'm thinking of is the Earth One Superman,
Yeah,
where before he became Superman, where he's showboating, being a football star, being a doctor, being like showing his smarts. Like he is just basically doing everything he can because he can,
yeah.
and then
Okay.
he goes into being a hero. But like he doesn't have to be actually going to being a hero. He's just being Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne without the costume.
I can. It's still. I do think it's a tough needle to thread there to do a Superman film.
But you know
Whereas,
people are going to do it.
oh yeah,
The
100%.
moment
Well, what was the last
they're
character? What
already.
was the last character that had? They already had a film made about it. They had it like the trailer ready to go. I
Oh
can't
yeah, it
remember.
was like the day after.
Tigger, Piglet. I can't remember.
No,
Winnie
it was
Pooh, something else. It wasn't Pinocchio either. It was.
crap.
It
It
was in our
literally
chat
just had
too.
they had. I mean, it was Steamboat Willie, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was Steamboat Willie. Like because like they had stuff
Yes, they
a
did.
day
Yeah, you're
later.
right. You're right. You're right. You're
Like
right.
they had a trailer for the video game a day later.
Yeah.
So like these things are they're already starting to make these movies. Like they're getting the script ready, they're getting everything lined up so that the minute it drops to being public domain, they're like, bam, here we go. Let's
Yeah.
put this in
Already ready
production
to
right
rock.
now. Yeah.
And Randy says Godot asked Gunn. Godot said Gunn asked her to return as Wonder Woman. Gunn denied it. I believe Godot. I have no reason not to believe Gunn right now because everything he's been completely honest online about what is real and what isn't real. For the most part, he had that. I asked Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was going to work with us on something, and Ben Affleck was like, "Yeah, I'm never going to do anything like comic book related ever again." So that was off page, but. I think the writing's on the wall, Randy. I think
See,
Godot
though,
wanted to
although
keep
hold
the
on.
character. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say that by you saying that he asked Gunn
Yeah.
or Gunn asked Affleck to join. Affleck said no. Like that kind of leads credence to what Randy's saying
Randy's
here. What
saying,
Godot's
yeah,
saying.
I say that's the one blemish for me on his reply since he's taken over. Uh, I think Godot wanted to keep Wonder Woman as that is a pretty valuable role, as we've
Well,
seen with multiple
it didn't
cameos.
help that well, sure, but it didn't help that Wonder Woman 3 was already set to go.
Yes.
Then Gunn and Safran took over, and then things started to get muddied.
Yeah.
You know,
And then it was not a go ahead. They didn't like Patty Jenkins' script. But after seeing Wonder Woman 84, I don't know if that's the worst thing to have happen because that was arguably my least favorite DC EU film.
sure, but at the same time, you having a bad middle doesn't automatically mean
I
that there's going to be
know.
a bad third.
I know that's true too. Because the first one was a really, really good film. That's right, Joe.
First one was amazing.
That's a
I
good
think the
point.
problem was that they kept going back into the past and not making these movies into the present. I think when I did what I did, I did the rewatch before Aquaman Lost Kingdom, and 84 was definitely down there for me. And my biggest gripe was all this stuff is happening, and then no movie after it ever brought up the fact that this stuff happened years prior. Like,
Yep.
that was a mistake.
Yeah, and the story was very, very muddy, and there's some things that Godot's Wonder Woman did that I'm not sure a hero would do to a just innocent bystander.
So Randy says here, how about the Mr. Smith goes to Washington comment, which I don't know what that comment is. People took him at his word, and he came back saying he was kidding, but you couldn't tell from his comment. The same thing happened with what's his name from Vision, Paul Bettany, saying,
Yeah,
"Oh yeah, I got to work with the best person. I got to work with somebody I never got to work with before," and he literally met himself. People were dissecting that to mean so many other things.
it's hard
The
over
internet,
comments. Yeah,
the internet is going to blow itself up trying to dissect people's comments. So you can't take him at his word on that.
it's
That
also
is
hard to
that.
address tone, Joe, over text. That's the
Oh,
one thing.
100%.
Like, it's really hard to know if he's like. It's hard for even I know Randy anyway reading it for him to know if he's joking. You almost need to have an LOL or something in there. And all the game says should have never gotten rid of the first movie's writer, big mistake, or the fight team, the team behind the action, because they were not on from the first team was not they did not go on to the second. So I did notice a bit in terms of the action as well. I thought it was more fantastical slash like not realistic at all to me. Uh, Alan Heinberg went on to knock it out of the park with Netflix. Sandman, yeah, Sandman. We can't wait for that to return.
Yeah.
So, Joe, let's take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad support network. We don't pick the ads or volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got a whole lot of news to catch up on. It's been a little while. First and foremost, there's Supergirl rumors here. There's 3 choices: Millie Alcott, Amelia Jones, and Meg Donnelly as the choices. I only know Meg Donnelly from her role as voicing Supergirl in the Tomorrowverse. I don't know the
So
other 2. One is from the Game of Thrones, or the spin-off House of Dragon.
House of Dragon. Yeah, Millie Alcock is from House of Dragon. I haven't watched House of Dragon, so I can't speak to how good of an actress she is. I know Amelia Jones from Lock and Key, and she did a good job. Arguably, her role in that was the like I'm not gonna say the titular character, but it kind of focused on her for the most part through all 3 seasons. And I thought she did a really good job. And Meg Donnelly, yes, she is Supergirl, but I also know her from the Zombies, the Disney Channel Zombies made for TV channels.
That's written here as well. Yeah,
And that's only because one of my daughters watched them constantly. So like I've seen the first 2 movies with her in it, and they're very Disney Channel esque. So I can't like say her acting prowess is the greatest because we haven't Disney Channel doesn't put out the best of actors in their young ages.
no, you don't know.
When they grow up, they get better. Look at Selena Gomez.
Yes,
But what I'm saying is when they're on the Disney Channel, they're asking them to act just blasé, and that's kind of what you get.
yeah, you get some of the like big names. Like that's probably the highest they ever get. But like Joe said, like some of these other actors on here like really blossom from some of these shows. And Gunn had a response to this whole article and whole scoop. He said it's difficult to debunk stories that are fake, but with some element of truth. Either I have to point out what's fake and what's true and give away a bunch of stuff I didn't want to, or I just say the whole thing is fake and get accused of dishonesty down the line when the one true part comes out. Anyways, there's a couple of those stories around recently. So that came
So
out.
this is all true. All 3 of them are going to be Supergirl.
Yeah, 100%,
Right,
Joe. We're gonna have
right,
3
right, Randy.
super. Yeah. So again, take what he says with a grain of salt at times because it's hard. Like I feel like I hope when Superman Legacy gets up and running, like really running into production, not pre-production, when we don't see him on here at all debunking anything. I hope he just films his movie. Now, when you're in the editing bay, feel free if you want to take 10, 15, 20 minutes to respond to some of the nonsense, but just go
Yeah,
film your movie, please. Like you got to. There's a reason Kevin Feige is not doing this kind of thing all the time because you can get muddied down in all the responses to people, and then
But
you can get
Feige
people.
never started. That's the thing. Like he
No,
never had a chance to. By the time he took over, the the movies were established, characters were established. So yeah, he just kept his mouth shut and he became the head. Gunn is starting something new, and yes, he's been very vocal on social media. He's been very you've been able to ask him things and he's responded. And like he said there, he will debunk things if he has to, but I agree with you. He needs to stop.
I
Hopefully
like it.
soon.
I
And
like it
I
at
think I
times.
definitely think he will. I definitely think during when Superman Legacy starts filming, he'll stop. He's done.
Yeah.
And he won't because he's only filming, he's writing, directing this one. Everything
Mhm.
else he's just producer on right now, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So like at that
Well,
point, sure.
Peacemaker too.
Peacemaker and Waller, sure, but yeah,
He has
that's
that pretty much done.
yeah. Well, scripts anyway.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, we're excited. I'm not sure who Supergirl will beat. Myself and Joe, obviously, whoever it is, you're going to take.
Honestly, like I
We've
don't
seen
like
enough
I said.
casting. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, I know Amelia, I know Meg. I'm fine. Out of those two, I'd probably pick Amelia, but I also think that I don't watch House of Dragon. I understand that Millie Alcock has gotten a better like reception, and she would probably be the better choice. She's got the I'll say she's got the more acting prowess because of House of Dragon.
Hmm.
Um, but again, I don't know because I've never seen the show. Um, but out of those three, I would probably say Millie would be the best option. If
She's
I'm
the biggest name out of the three. She got the
currently,
most like buzz behind her. I'm okay with whatever person's cast. As always, we've seen people are like, no, let's not have this character, and then they end up being like the actor played this character and end up being awesome. I wait until I
yeah,
see the performance before I really judge. And
sure.
also,
Oh yeah,
I don't have a freaking clue about 95% of the actors in Hollywood. Like I don't watch things to the level like Snell watches things where you're watching 4 or 5 movies a week. I don't have that time right now. I wish I did. I use it on other things that I probably shouldn't, like playing Guardians of the Galaxy video game or something like that. So yeah, or Harry Potter Legacy or Hogwarts Legacy. Sorry. Uh, yeah. So again, whenever we get them, I'm sure they're going to be good portrayals.
we'll find out and we'll talk about it on here.
Yes, we will. So Joe, we had another casting confirmation, which is James Gunn confirms that Anna Chalartra, sorry, has officially been cast in Creature Commandos as Cersei. He also teased that there are more cool characters played by cool actors. He said, "Is it true?" Someone asked him that. He said, "Yes, there are other cool characters in the show being played by other cool actors, but all the series regulars were already announced." So Cersei,
Sure.
and then we all know the one thing about this is DCUs through TV, film, and animation and gaming. So these people are going to be playing these characters in DCU as well.
Yeah.
So she is your Cersei. We haven't gotten a Cersei. People were clamoring for that to be one of the characters that we saw in Wonder Woman that we never got. What do you think about actually getting this character, Joe?
I'm fine with it. Okay, sure. Yeah, it should have happened in Wonder Woman, and maybe that was probably maybe that's where the Patty Jenkins script was going, and Gunn's like,
Hmm.
nope, I got a different idea for this character.
I like how you
So
debut some of these villains in Creature Commandos that you can possibly pull back into the DCU later on down the line.
sure.
That's something that
And
intrigues me.
which reminds me, Creature Commandos, is that 10 episodes or is that 8 episodes?
I think it's 10, but
Okay.
don't quote me on that.
Also, do we know? I mean, we don't know, obviously, but the could we assume that the length is probably going to be like 40 to 50? Kind of like a
7
maybe
episodes.
like 7 episodes? Wow, we were
Yeah.
way off. Samson night.
Yeah.
Thanks, all in game. So like, could we just assume that these episodes are going to be longer than 22 minutes?
No idea. Whereas on Max, that's a possibility, Joe. That's definitely a possibility.
Well, I bring this up because my assumption is like we're gonna have Cersei for a 1 episode
Yeah,
storyline.
same, same.
We'll have these like we've got the core group, the Creature Commandos, throughout the whole series, but each episode is gonna have their own villain arc. And I'm not going as far as like Superman or My Adventures with Superman. where it's 22 episodes, but it's a whole season long arc. And I know it should be. Like in theory, the season long story is the best form of storytelling. But these are characters we don't know, and I can see them, doing a 1 episode arc, running into these villains, and you're figuring stuff out.
Oh, we're 100% get like a Brain and Mala episode as the
You think
villains.
so?
I think that's the way they could go with this because Gunn loves these obscure characters as well, and then that's an excuse
Yeah,
to
but I don't
potentially
think
bring
Brain
them
and,
into
and Mr. Mala is as obscure as you think, considering you had him in Teen Titans for like 2 seasons. You had him in the Titans
Teen
show.
Titans.
No,
Okay,
the
yeah. I know,
cartoon, the Teen Titans
yeah,
cartoon.
I know
You
you're
have
talking
him
about.
in Teen Titans Go all the time. You had them in Doom Patrol for a season. Like, I don't think they're as obscure as they used to be.
I still think that a lot of people don't know them. I think it's a possibility for him to just test the water on some of these characters to get them into film or TV as well.
That's true.
Which again, I'm all for just adding a little bit extra to some of these animated shows. That's the same thing with Marvel doing with the What If being a MCU show with like possibilities that you could see characters like if you watched Multiverse of Badness, if you watch What If episode 4 with Stephen Strange, where he tries to save and turns into that character, that would give you so much extra benefit before you went into watching Multiverse of Madness, in my humble opinion. I feel like watching
Yes
What If
and no, but
would have gave you
we
more benefit.
we did actually get that version of Strange in Multiverse of Madness.
No, but we got like another version.
We
Well,
got
we
a
did. He was an evil version that we saw that he fought against. That's what I reminded me of. I don't know. I just feel like I love when the animation gets called back and cited in TV and film.
okay. That's fair.
So Gunn also says that Superman Legacy will not be the only DCU project to enter production this year. We think is it just Waller? Is it Chance's Peacemaker? Uh, he did say that he finished 7 episodes. He only got 1 episode left to write for
For
Peacemaker. Do you think?
Peacemaker.
And John Cena
Peacemaker,
is 51, I think. How old's John Cena?
he's up there. He's his early 50s. Peacemaker would be the smart guess.
46.
Wait, really?
Yeah. 1977.
Oh, snap.
Hmm?
He's not that much older than me. Anyway, Peacemaker would be a smart guess because they're almost done with the writing, so they could easily go into production within a couple months. I haven't heard squat out of Waller. Like, is that still happening? Who knows? I mean, I know it's happening, but like, is it going to happen this year? I don't know. But that'd be my guess to be those, unless one of the other projects, the like Brave and the Bold or whatever. I can't remember all the other ones that was coming out. Like, unless those go into production by like December, which is possible. Like, we don't know how far along all these scripts are. Anything's possible.
That's true, Joe. Randy says Guns focus on obscure characters to the exclusion of faves like Wonder Woman is the problem. Wonder Woman should have been among the first 3 films. I'm going to push back on that a little time, but Randy, not saying that Wonder Woman isn't important, but we haven't had a freaking goddamn Superman film since 2013, and it's 11 years now. We've had 2 Wonder Woman films since that time, so I'm among other things, 2 Aquaman films, a Flash film. So we need another Superman film. I feel like that's the best film to start your universe. I could hear your thoughts about having a Wonder Woman film and down the line after that, but they did talk about the Themyscira show. So if they put that into production, I'm okay with holding off on Wonder Woman for a little bit to get her down the line because, again, I want to see a young Superman and get multiple appearances with him. It's been so long for Superman that, again, that's my number one. And the Authority, I'm really interested in the Authority because I think that's something that can be completely different and change the game a little bit. So we'll get more Wonder Woman, I'm sure, but I feel like since if you're going to cast a new Wonder Woman, you need to give a bit of time before rolling her out after you're moving on from Godot.
I do agree, but we did just have Superman Return a year ago. In Batman and Black Cat. Don't give it
I
a look.
don't.
He
I
was there.
no. I don't give that any credence. That was a rock. I, I'm a
But
big
that was
fan of the
Henry
Rock. I know.
Cavill.
I know.
Now, again,
No,
I
it was a
agree with
combo.
you.
Combo.
I agree
Combo.
with you that Superman needs to happen first. Like, that
Yeah.
is the whole reason why Superman Legacy is coming out. However, I can also agree with Randy where it should have been Superman film, a Batman film, and then the Wonder Woman film. I think that's the
I'm
way it should have
okay
gone.
with that. I'm okay with
That's the
someone
way it
telling
should
me
have
that. Yeah.
gone in the first go, which it sort of almost did.
It
Like
did. It did.
well, we got Superman.
Then we
Then we
got
got
Batman
BVS.
and Superman and Wonder Woman all together.
They were there, sure, but I'm talking about a dedicated film.
And then we got Wonder
like I said,
Woman's
we got Superman, we got BVS, which had them all, we got Suicide Squad, and then we had Wonder Woman. So, like, it should have been Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That's where it should have been.
I can't disagree with that, but I'm just saying Superman needs to be the first film. And again, if you're recasting, I'm okay with Wonder Woman being like the 6th or 7th film, Randy, just because you need a bit of time to move off of Godot, because Godot is every person's Wonder Woman who you think about for Wonder Woman right now. Well, besides people my father's age who shout out Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Myself and Joe remember the TV, and the patrons remember the TV pilot
Both
that
of
we
them.
reviewed. Both of them. Yeah, so again, I'm okay with us waiting a little bit for Wonder Woman if they are recasting. If you're bringing Godot back, you're right, Randy. It should have been one of the first 3 films.
Now, Randy here says, true, but there are no more rumored Superman projects after Superman Legacy. The issue is lack of a sequel to allow character development story arcs. So I'm going to push back on that because there's no other projects that have sequels coming out. We're going to have the closest sequel is the Supergirl movie, which is connected because it's the same universe, the same family.
He says, but there's no indication Superman will get multiple appearances as in sequels. Cornspit not doing cameos in other films does not count. The Authority is going to be there as the complete counter to Superman and what he represents, Randy. So I do think you're going to get Superman across multiple films. And I don't think he's going to just do a little Wonder Woman type cameo that we got in Shazam or Flash. I think you're going to get quality moments there because I do think maybe Gunn's first showdown with the Justice League will be against the Authority. That's kind of what I'm thinking may happen down the line. So again,
I'll say I don't want like these guys to be similar to Phase 1 of Marvel. I don't want all of these heroes cameoing in these other movies right now. Like Phase 2, they started cameoing, and it was fine. Phase 3 is when they actually were able to like bring it all together and make it all work.
You're all right with a post-credit scene of somebody showing up, right?
That's a whole different situation. Because if they play it like Marvel did, the post-credit scene is supposed to lead into the next film or a future film.
Well, my thoughts on that, Joe, is Maxwell Lord is going to be recruiting some of these people to join the Justice League that he's going to finance. That is partly what I'm thinking there.
Now, if that's the case, great. But we also, I can see what you're saying there. And we also know that Superman Legacy is going to have a ton of cameos. Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific.
I think he's going to have something on the go already, and then they're going to try to get Superman. That's going to be.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the thing, Randy. It could suck. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going in hoping that it's going to be great. But I'm going to give them a chance. You got to. That's the only thing you can do because there's nothing that you can do to change who's running this now. It's just, and if you don't go and watch, it's not going to make like nothing's going to happen. Everybody needs to not view this for it to be a.
But that's also the thing. People have been so vocal, both sides. I could definitely see it being enough people not going to see it and causing Superman Legacy to not make money.
I've really hoped
kind of ruin the whole thing.
700 million.
Same, I do too. Yeah. But I just because of the bad taste that has been left from the previous regime, this is an uphill battle for Superman Legacy. It's
Eh, eh,
already an uphill battle for Gunn because people have been very vocal about their opinion about him, not liking him, not liking his films. Like
Joker. Joker
Joker's
2
its own separate
will
thing.
go no, but just for the goodwill and the good brand name of DC, I feel like if Joker has a good performance, that goes a long way in helping and just saying like our last movie did really well, last DC film. No, the budget has not been announced yet on the game. I feel like it's going to be a little while before that happens, and I don't even really trust these budget announcements anymore after all the COVID filming and that. I feel like half the time they're not on the up and up.
I
Uh,
predict we'll get a budget in August.
Ooh, the
Calling it now.
final final thing before we go on our second break, Joe. We got some merch finally from DCU. Uh, Shout out to Sarah Sampino, who is wearing a sweater with the Creature Commando cast. It has
That's fun.
DC logo on the bottom and Creature Commando. Pretty awesome. I can't wait to get me some new DCU uh, swag. So let's take our final ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're
Let's
an
just
ad
say
supported network.
second. We'll see.
Second, listeners, we're an ad supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. I'm going to give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got more news. Some quick hitters, I think, here. Kaylee Kuko says that Harley Quinn season 5 is now in production. I'm not shocked on that, given Kite Man is getting a season here. Did we not expect that? And also, Gunn pointed out, I think last time he was talking about this stuff, that Harley Quinn was going to be like separate. So I feel like he added that into one of the separate worlds type things. So I feel like that this show is safe for as long as they want to make it.
Which I hope is a long time because the show is great.
Mm-hmm. I will take any time to hear Bane or Clayface or a
right?
myriad of other
Bane in
villains.
particular. Bane is the best.
You are right there. Also, Joe, little bit. I won't say it yet. When we get to them filming episode 7, I might tell you to eat it a little tiny bit. But Superman and Lois is back, starting as episode 1. I've seen episode 2 script as well that Busy Television shared. They are filming these episodes for the final season. I am very excited
All 6
about
episodes,
that.
Yep.
I hope we get this in 2024, Joe. I really do.
I can definitely, if they're filming now, I can see it getting a fall slate.
Would be really
like
nice.
I mean, because they can get it all. They can get all 6 episodes finished up probably by March, and then be done with post production by like August, September. I can see that. So I don't know.
Games that have been canon additions to the DCU have started development from WB Games. Does not work the paper that's printed on for me until I start seeing some of these games. And again, that is my
did they
biggest
announce
question.
what games they are? Like,
no, they didn't announce
what
what games they are. They kept mum on that. This was during like them talking about
weird
how
that
many games.
Variety would say that. So
shocked at all.
Sorry.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's coming out in a little bit. I have no interest in buying this game. The NDAs are lifting, and suffice to say, the news is not great for most of these.
So here's the thing. Like when they showed the trailer back in, what was their dumb thing called again? Their the online convention thing they did like a couple years back.
Fandom.
Yeah, the fandom. Yeah. Like the first year was great. Year 2 was struggle, and year 3 just sucked. Wait, did they do year 3?
No, we did not.
I don't remember.
Year two was terrible.
So it's all year 2.
Year 3
when they announced when they showed, because that's where they showed the trailer on year 2, right? Like it looked cool. It looked fun. Yeah. It looked like, oh, this might actually be good, but it wasn't a gameplay trailer.
No.
And now the more we got coming out, I'm like, I don't care for this game.
Well, really essentially, IGN said we played it and we didn't like it. And they're not the only ones. There's people that are not too happy about this game. It's sad because, like you said, this had a bit of promise, and to see where they've come from the Arkham games to now, it's like, guys, like, you couldn't improve, you couldn't like step up and do a like Superman game proper. No, this is what you did instead, and oh, Joe, it's just.
Honestly, I don't know if we'll ever have a good Superman game.
I think you
Like
might need
after
another console up, another step up in console for
see, I don't even think that because like after I've played the Arkham games, I've played 2 of the 3 Spider-Man games. Like Superman is just one of those things where it will. I don't think you could get a good
It's almost too
Spider-Man
powerful
game.
to do.
Well, sure, but like the cool thing about like Batman and Spider-Man, like Batman, you can run around, you could grapple, you could drive the car. Spider-Man, you're swinging. Like that's awesome. Like those are great. Superman flying around, while that would be fun, I don't think it's going to work out as well as you might think.
Yeah, again, I the Dragon Ball Z game that I played uh showed flying around could be done for me. So I'm like, I feel like there is potential, and you might have another step up in terms of gaming console to be able to do that.
Again, I don't even know if that will help it. I honestly don't.
You could be right about that, Joe. I'm not the
It's
best
the
on the
open
game.
the open world is what you need, but you're also limited to being it's Superman.
Yeah,
He's not going to just stick around in Metropolis. It's
no.
literally you need the whole world, and
And he's not
that's
gonna like
I
walk from one street up to the next
correct.
street punching
He'll
bad guys,
fly.
unless
He'll
you get into the
fly.
Death of Return of Superman for the SNES, because that's exactly what he does. He lands and then he walks around, and he can only fly completely up screen and completely down screen, but that's it. You can't go like it. Yeah, I still really enjoyed that game, but like Joe said, that's not
It's going to be
quality.
tough. It's going to be
Uh,
tough. I
we
think they
got
can do it. I don't know if it will be like I don't know. Like I think
it's.
it could be done, but and maybe you're all right. Maybe it will be on the next console, but I don't know. I don't know.
I would love to see it. I really would. We get a new look at the official logo for Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux. It's just essentially Joker and then Folie à Deux under it. Uh,
Yeah, it
not
looks
not
fine.
much to be said there. Uh,
Okay.
Sorry, just had a message.
Oh, fair.
Uh,
It's all good.
so so we have a look at Harley Latley on the set of
Harry Lotley.
uh, Harry Latley on the set of Joker Folie à Deux. Uh, he's rumored to be playing Harvey Dent. Do you think, first of all, is it going to be good to have Harvey Dent in this? What kind of Harvey Dent is this is going to be? Will we ever see Two Face? Are you even excited to see Harvey in this kind of thing, Joe?
I don't think we'll see Two Face, because I. So my thought is Harvey is similar and close to age to Bruce Wayne in the comics. Now we already know this movie is subverting all of that. We're getting a Harley who is closer to age to Joker than Batman and all that. So I couldn't put it past them to have a Two Face. Is this Harvey Dent? Maybe. Whatever. I don't care. Like this is a movie that I didn't know. I'm not gonna say I didn't need, but like I'll watch. Like I've got no problem watching it.
Hard one. I need to see a few. I need to see what a few films in 2024 do comic book wise on the game before I can guess what we're going to get for this film, because I haven't seen a hit yet.
That's not saying much. The first couple of comic book movies are Madam Web and
Yep.
what, the Craven movie?
Deadpool will be out before this.
Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool. Will
So
be
that'll give me a good idea of, because I do think Joker's going to get a lot of buzz. I do think, just like the first one, when you add Lady Gaga into this, who I think her only other role that I can remember was that one with Bradley Cooper that everyone talked about, where they sang together.
Oh no, she was in like 2 or 3 seasons of American Horror Story.
I know. I'm just that's the main thing.
The Star is Born. Is the movie you're thinking of,
yeah. There you go. That was a big thing at the time. So I do think that, and also there's a track, Harley and Joker Waltz, that was added to Lady Gaga's BMI account. I don't know what a BMI account is, but your
that's
height
that's
rankings
blood
for
money intake. Yeah.
your height your height rankings for this year's comic book movies. Obviously, Madam Web is number one. No, Deadpool is number one.
Excuse
First
me,
and
sir,
foremost.
but to quote our Marvel brethren, Madam Web is the blueprint. So
Blueprint of blueprint of not including the one thing I want to say. I know they'll talk about it. What a stupid decision to let that get out. That is not connected to any Spider-Man, because that would have been at least a ploy to get people to come watch that first week, is to see if it connected to any
I
Spider-Man universe. Don't tell me that didn't happen for Morbius with uh, Vulture, because I did see that was the only thing people talked about, like from that film. So I think
yeah,
letting this get out of the bag is not a smart thing.
I think it'll end with because Madam Web has the web of spider life or whatever. I think it will connect, but that won't be until like the end credits here or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, hype. I honestly don't remember what all is coming out. So I know there was a list. I literally shared it in our group chat like a week ago.
There isn't
And there's a
much,
good
Joe, to be
amount
honest
of
with you.
well, no, there's a good amount of stuff coming out. I just don't remember everything. Like I know there's a new Transformers movie coming out, which I'm like, okay,
Oh, okay.
I'll
Well,
watch that.
yeah.
But obviously, Madam Web, I'll go see that. Joker, like I said, I didn't need it.
Venom is
I'll go
supposed to
see it.
make it at the end of the year. I thought Venom 3 was supposed to,
If that makes it at the end of the year, cool. I'll go watch that.
and Craven as
Deadpool's gonna
well.
be great.
Craven is another one.
Craven, I'll watch it. That's about it.
Yeah, hard. It goes Deadpool 3, and then you
Yeah,
stack them
it's
down.
Deadpool,
Probably
Joker, Transformers in the middle somewhere, and I have to look at the rest of the list. Everything else is kind of like
Madam Wit and
I got a
Craven.
Regal
Craven
Unlimited. I got a Regal Unlimited thing, so I'll go see it because I pay for the month.
on the game. Madam Web and Craven are hanging out at the bottom. Um, so, Joe, we have a rumor that Scott Snyder is returning to DC to develop DC's own Ultimate Universe. Got any thoughts about that? Do you think this is a good move by DC?
I mean, look, they've tried this a few different times. This was shared in our group chat. It was also shared in the comics group chat that I'm in with Chris and Clay. And was tried before. I would make the argument that the Earth One comics were supposed to be the ultimate line, the ultimate universe of DC. It was supposed to be more modern retelling of these characters. The issue I think they ran into with that is that they made them graphic novels instead of making them series. And so
Yeah.
you can't do the long form storytelling that the Ultimate line did. And because the Ultimate Universe is back now, I guess. I don't know. I'm behind on my comic book reading. I'm for it. Like I'm fine with it. Like it would definitely get me back into the reading DC. I barely read any DC books last year, and the only ones I did were for podcast last year for Comic Book Rundown. And even those were older DC books. Like I didn't read anything new.
No.
So this would definitely get me back into reading some DC books. However, like you said, the rumor is Scott Snyder's coming back. If that's true, great. Snyder would be a good one to start the universe.
I'm gonna believe it when I see it, type of thing. When it comes to DC Comics,
same
because
way.
we're getting a lot of announcements lately that we never got. Well, not lately, in the last.
Well,
couple
I
years,
think even Snyder, like he's kind of been focusing on his
own
independent
stuff.
work. Yeah, like he doesn't need the DC or the Marvel like to back him up anymore. Especially since both DC and Marvel haven't really been. I'm not gonna say they haven't been selling great, but they haven't been. Their characters and books haven't really been good. If like
You're not wrong, Joe. I can't remember the last big event either. Like remember, there used to be big events that I think last one was Doomsday Clock, and you know what happened to that wheels came off that in terms of the dates.
The last real big DC event was Dark Crisis of Infinite Earths, or
Yeah.
whatever the hell that was called. Like that was a whole jumble of mess to begin with, and just still hurts my head after reading that thing. So and even that, like I said, that event wasn't really all that big. It was supposed to be the sequel. I'm using air quotes because Infinite Crisis was definitely a sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it just was not good.
No.
Um,
We have one here, Joe, that writer, producer Reginald Hudlin, because you mentioned fandom before. In the first fandom, announced that there was going to be an animated film featuring DC's milestone characters, including Static Shock, Icon, and Hardware. He announced it again over Instagram that these animated films are moving forward. So I wonder, will these be DCU animation projects that will land in the DCU eventually down the line, or will they be standalone? I haven't heard anything about
which,
them doing
if
their own thing.
if they're connected, great. However, I could definitely see this being separate first,
I hope so. I hope so. And if
and
it's
then
good,
maybe if it gets the good buzz, then Gunn can be like, "Oh yeah, we'll bring
they're,
him in
DC,
over here."
they're DCU people.
Yeah,
We also have a one cut potentially. Hearing that Mira and Neris's cut scenes were cut a lot. Dolph Lundgren even said as much here. My opinion is that I thought the original script was great. Uh, I was a bigger part of it, and Amber was a bigger part of it. Uh, he also mentioned here that he thought that Jason Momoa got a little spooked by the Amber Heard um, noise with Johnny Depp and wanted
yeah,
to change
that's why the
things.
movie was bad.
Now, I will say that is a possibility of why some of the stuff would change, like the Jason Momoa opening with the sun. I could definitely see the movie opening to something else than what we got there. Now, like I said, I'm not saying like it's Jason Momoa's fault or anything, but that was not a great scene for me, and I just wonder what some of the changes were because sometimes at some points that did not feel like a wine film for me. Just my opinion, anyway.
Fair.
Uh, so this brings us to the picture that I was talking about, Joe. For part 2 of Crisis, which is all the Bat family. This will not be a spoiler for you at all in terms of giving away anything in part 1.
I'll say I watched the teaser.
Yeah.
Sadly,
So this is
probably
awesome.
should
This
watch
is
part one.
Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis and the rest of the Bat family. This makes me scratch
Yeah,
my
I
head even
saw
more about what's
Batwing
going
in
on.
there. I saw
Yeah.
Huntress. I saw Damien. I saw Batgirl, and it wasn't which Batgirl was it? It wasn't the
Barbara
Batgirl
Gordon.
Burnside. Well,
Barbara
no, but
Gordon. Yeah. No,
like
it looked more like
it
the
looks like the not Earther Kit because that was Catwoman.
66.
Yeah,
66. Batman
the I
66
can't remember her
Batgirl.
name.
I can't either.
Yeah, Yavin. No,
I can't
whatever.
remember that.
Sorry, but yeah, it looks like her. Whereas, yeah, it looks like Terry McGinnis from the
Beyond.
the final episode of Batman Beyond. It looks like Huntress from where like it almost looks like her from
JLU.
the is that no? Because I feel like she had a different costume in the Justice League Unlimited. Either way, it's there.
Actually, it looks more like her from Injustice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I
Just
need to
looks
watch the
cool.
first movie.
Looks cool. That looks cool. That looks cool.
I'll get to the first movie eventually, and maybe there's a reason why they're looks like they're pulled from each a different universe.
I'm interested to see what that is, but again, gonna hold my thoughts as hard as that might be right now. So, Joe, we have our final thing of the night, the Smallville Retro Recaps. We are back as Talkville is back as well. We are marching into season 4 of Smallville with season 4, episode 1, Crusade. What did you think about this episode, Joe? Do you remember watching this back in the day? And this was our introduction into your favorite character of the show.
Yes, Lois Lane, Erica Durant. No, I remembered seeing this episode when it aired. Rewatching it now, I'm like, okay, I kind of remembered. I remember some things. For some reason, I felt like the introduction with Lois and Clark was different. But again, this came out in 2004. It's been 20 years. I don't,
You'll get your classic Lois and Clark in the next episode and going forward. There's much more banter
no.
between the
Like
two.
I was thinking, no. What my thought was, like I remembered her finding him on the
Yeah, in
side
the
of the
cornfield.
road, not in a cornfield.
Okay.
That's what I was getting. Like, so my remembering of how they met was different. That's just what I meant. I remembered him being odd because of the whole Jarrell thing. But yeah, like this was a great episode. This was a really great
This was
episode.
such a good episode. How she's
Um,
introduced too. Oh my god.
Yeah, perfect job on that. And she is playing it off. She definitely reminded me a lot of Chloe. Like a lot of the babbling she was doing had a lot of Chloe tone to it. And obviously they're saying here that she is her cousin, so makes sense. The storyline with Lex trying to find these artifacts, and then Kal-El coming in and taking the little
flying,
thing.
pushing his mom out the way.
That was
Get
fun.
here, mom.
Like I forgot all about that part. Another thing I forgot was Margot Kidder showing up.
Yeah.
Totally
Well,
forgot
I
about
think
that.
that was supposed to be Chris Reeve, but they
It was
couldn't get
supposed to
him.
be, but he had already passed away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he had
Yeah.
gotten his
really sick. One of the things.
Yeah, one of the two. But like, yeah, I'm just seeing those two on screen together again. Just kind of lifted me up. It was kind of fun. But no, like all in all, another thing I remembered. Seeing Jensen Ackles, Dean, show up. Dean from Supernatural. Like I remember him being in the season, and he's a freaking goofball. Like, and I love it. He was great. It was also very sad. Like I know his character evolves over the season, and some of the stuff we get is it. I'm not gonna say felt shoehorned in, but I think they had to move things around because he goes from this to Supernatural. Like season 5 of
he also read for
Tom.
He also read for Clark.
Did he?
Yes, he was in the running for Clark.
Did not know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that he was still able to come back then.
Same, and I enjoy him more when we get to the football stuff in a few episodes. So I'll be excited when we get to that point. But again, I loved Lois in this, and when we get Clark at the end saying like "I'm going to help you," I thought that was a great way to end the episode.
Speaking of Clark at the end, so his friend died, right? He wasn't around.
No.
And his first thing to do when he gets to his friend's grave, to Chloe's grave, is to look at her dead body.
Well,
like he fully thinks that she is there, right? He has not given any indication that her death is nothing but her death. And he is looking in her grave, into her casket, he's wanting to see a dead body. There's no other reason why you're looking in that casket.
Because Lois is saying that she's still alive. That's why.
No. Lois is trying to find out why she died. Who killed her?
No, she's trying to find out what happened to her, where she's to.
She's trying to find out what happened to her, how she died. Everybody thinks she's dead. He X-rays into the casket, and he's like, "Hey, Lois, Chloe's still alive." Like, you purposely looked at this casket to see your dead friend.
Like, how did you know that? How did you know that? So, again, that's obviously they talked about that on Talkville.
I'm still loving this though. I'm loving this.
They talked about that on Talkville.
Oh,
yeah, they made fun of that. They're like, Clark looks at it and immediately blurts out, "Yeah, she's alive." But again,
I'm looking forward to the season. This is a season that I remembered fondly. However, I know we talked about before we got on the air. This apparently is Lana and the Witches.
Yeah.
So again, I remembered it fondly, but it's also been 20 years. So let's watch this. Let's see what's going on. Maybe I won't remember it as fondly as I thought.
Yeah, this is not that witch stuff. We'll get to it. It gets worse in this season. So again, terrible decision for Lana, but there's so much good in this season that it kind of gets over. This terrible storyline gets overshadowed. And also, Erica Durance is my favorite Lois Lane, so I will be excited anytime I get to see her. She was only supposed to be in
That's
like
fair.
5 episodes for this season, and they just kept putting her in and said, "That's it, you're in now," and that's how it
Your
should
main.
be.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. So, Joe, it was nice catching up. Took a week, but I feel like that was a good thing to build up the news that there wasn't much last week.
Sure.
Listeners, we'll be back next week with more DC goodness. Until then, Joe, see you.
Bye,
Listeners.
y'all.